Alrighty, hello, 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 and it's hot over here. It's almost like 90 degrees. Okay, Vito, where are you based? Where are you based, Vito? Yeah, meet you there, Vito. Let's see if we can hear you. Vito, do you have a mic? Hello? Hello? Oh, Vito, I can hear you. You can actually speak if and probably it's better to have more dynamic interaction. Where are you based, Vito?
Might not have audio.
Yeah, right. So you have audio there, Vito. Oh, maybe you don't have audio. Okay, got it. No problem. Oh, you're based in London. Okay, no problem, Vito. Alrighty. So let's discuss about what causes inconsistent profitability. Well, let's discuss a couple of things here. So there's three things that causes inconsistent profitability. You have mental, physical, and technical. And then if three are all in alignment, then this is where we can trade in a zone. So most cases, in order to be consistent, we need to work on technical, we need to work on physical. The last but not least, it normally happens where? On the mental side. So Jared, based on your experience, where do you think, uh, in terms of your experience, the cause of the inconsistency?
Mental, physical are the two bigger ones. Mental number one, physical number two.
Alrighty, from here. Okay, let's discuss about the mental aspect. So, what errors do you have in regards to challenges with the mental aspect that causes inconsistent profitability, Jared? What are the major causes, do you think?
Um, Ones that I've seen come up are like being impatient,
Okay,
um, lack of meticulousness, and um, being greedy and biased.
okay. Lack of meticulousness, um, greed, um, subjective, meaning
Yeah.
uh, using perception based on one's biasness. Is that right? Okay. Also, the fear of executing, fear of taking profits, fear of losing, right? So I believe these are the major ones that causes inconsistent profitability. All right, let's talk about the physical aspect. What causes inconsistent profitability based on the physical conditioning, Jared?
Um, your physical state and mental state are kind of linked because, yeah, your mind in the end is telling your body what to do. So if
Exactly.
your body's not hydrated, your body's not, exercised or ready to go, then doesn't matter how good your mental game is, you won't be able to physically execute or do things.
Exactly. So dehydration, lack of exercise, lack of sleep.
Yeah.
So lack
of energy too from eating, lack of food.
Okay. Lack of energy.
Nutrition or nourishment.
Okay. Due to nutrition. Ooh. Lack of energy, lack of because of based on nutrition. That leads to the performance, right? Very nice. Technical. I mean, you can practice, you can have the most perfect system there is, but without these two, then this one will be pretty much useless if you really think about it. All right, good. So let's just bear with me here, Jared. Continue share based on whiteboard. Okay. You can see my whiteboard there, right, Jared?
Yep. Or it's still on the
Okay. Oops.
It's like the writing on the Internet Explorer.
How's that one?
Yep, there we go.
Nice. All right, let's discuss about the cause versus effect. Let's look first in terms of the lack of meticulousness. What is the effect of that, Jared, based on the lack of meticulousness?
The effect of it is not like, seeing one thing that isn't true. So kind of like biasness.
Okay. The effect is biasness. Two, so no longer being objective, right? So bias,
Yeah.
which is the subjectivity using one's own perception, right? So what are the normal thought processes that we say to ourselves when we're using our own perception? Some of them, for example, would be the word hope, right? So hoping that the trade would go our way. That's basically pretty much after the planning, which is the lack of meticulousness, and it didn't go our way, and next thing you know, it goes in spiral motion. So the lack of meticulousness leads to what then, Jared?
Losing money quick.
Exactly. Great. Lack of meticulousness, lack of would you also say then, in terms of meticulousness or the lack of meticulousness, is a form of maybe laziness?
Yeah, definitely. That along with I guess it's pretty goal driven too, desire driven.
Exactly. So then that would be the solution We could create another column. Would be the solution would be having the desire and the passion for it, motivation, commitment, the integrity to follow through, focus, responsible. Anything else there that I'm missing here, Jared?
No, those are about all of them.
Okay. So that would be oh yeah, laziness. Here is also your responsibility. The lack of preparation. Planning. The lack of motivation. Lack of commitment. So basically, it is the opposite, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
And the lack of focus. Lack of desire. So when this happens, it also causes in regards to the lack of now or no longer thinking about the purpose of why we're trading. So if the intention, which is the always the starting point of things, starting point is from a thought, the thought is based on an idea, the idea is to make money from trading. So if we really want to make money from trading, then what are the processes in order for us to make money? Well, the process is this, the solution for it. So the question is, what causes for us to have the opposite? What causes for us to be in a state of lack of meticulousness, focus, motivation, responsibility, preparation, planning, commitment, and desire, Jared? What do you think it would be?
So you said what was the thing to have all of?
Yeah, what would you think is the root cause? So if we go back basically from the starting point, so the starting point is simply we have a thought. The thought of the idea to make money from trading. So that's basically the intent. The intention comes from a thought. Or once you have a thought, once you have an idea, you have an intent. So the intention is what? The intention is to trade, to make money from trading, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's always going to be the intention. We don't intend to trade to lose money because nobody wants to lose money. Nobody wants to trade for the sake of trading unless your sole purpose for trading is just to lose money. But nobody wants to lose money. We want to make money. That's the whole purpose of trading, is to make money. So if the sole purpose of trading is to make money, then what are the processes or steps in order for us to make money? Well, first we need to have the desire, the passion, the motivation, the commitment, the integrity, the focus, the responsibility, everything, the preparation, the planning, to be in order for us to be meticulous, to avoid biasness, to avoid subjectivity in order for us not to lose money. That's basically the whole string of processes when you really think about it. So the question now is, what causes all these? The meticulousness, the lack of meticulousness, the lack of focus, the lack of self-motivation, the lack of responsibility, being irresponsible, the lack of planning, preparation, the lack of commitment, the lack of desire. So what fuels these? What causes all these?
Um, kind of like laziness or like a lack of a drive. Also, you know, some people just might not be aware that this might be happening.
Nice. Okay, so the root cause is the lack of awareness. Very nice. Lack, oops, let me expand that. Lack, I'll just make it right here. Lack of awareness. But the second question, once again, is what is that awareness? So if this is our mind and we are not aware of it, and if there's three parts, you have the subconscious and you have the conscious, then is the lack of awareness from the subconscious, which is now our beliefs, mainly the limiting beliefs that we have set for ourselves, which is now setting ourselves for failure, basically. The lack of meticulousness, the lack of focus, the lack of motivation, laziness, or responsibility, lack of planning, preparation, lack of commitment, desire is a setup for failure because it's now losing money. So isn't it interesting then that the person or the inconsistent profitability is because we love to lose money rather than to make money? When you really think about it,
Yeah, it's possible.
is because of this. That perhaps deep down on the subconscious level, we don't like money. We don't love money. That maybe money is a source of evil or something. So how can we then change that? In actual fact, everything here are those limiting beliefs. Everything you see fit here is a cause, what we call the ego, right? The ego that we perceive it as ourselves, but in actual fact, that is not who we are. Because it's being suppressed by the ego like an onion that creates our mask, our persona, that creates the personality. So if that is now the mask, then that is not really who we are. Since if we get rid of all these, when you really think about it, if you get rid of all this, translate to this, which is a design that each and every one of us in this universe, in this plane, this physical plane, where we all have since birth. We all have the desire, we all have the passion, we all have the motivation, we all have the commitment, we all have the integrity, we all have the focus. We all have the responsibility, we all have the patience, we all have the confidence. But somewhere along the lines where when we start measuring our being and we start to question it, becomes a limit. Ooh, I don't feel confident. I am not confident. My confidence is only a 5 out of 10. Says who? Nobody else except us. Right? So it is from the outside world, based on what we see, hear, or feel, dictates based from our inside world. So that what creates our belief system, and we create to be true, then bam, it stores in there. And then it translates from the inside world that creates your own reality to the outside world. Which technically the outside world is just an illusion based on what we perceive from our inside world. Does it make sense there, Jared?
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the inside to the outside rather than the outside to the inside.
Right.
So that's what really causes inconsistent profitability, is the lack of awareness based on the belief systems that we have created for ourselves, mainly the limiting that limits us for success with anything, in this particular case for trading. Because now when you think about your successes is based on the opposite of the root causes of what causes it to lose money. Right? So let's take your example. You're profitable this week, you were consistent for the past 2-3 weeks, but yet what changes when there's a losing trade? By going back to the same habitual process of this. Is it interesting? It always pops up. The word meticulous. So to be meticulous,
Right.
you need focus, you need motivation, you need responsibility, you need commitment, you need to have the desire, the passion, everything that is going back from the being rather than ego-based driven. So losing money is ego-based driven compared to making money is based on the being driven, the self, who we are as an individual. Cool. That's pretty cool right there. Any questions there, Jared?
No, I'm all good.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat to see it, but putting it into action, it's another challenge to overcome
Exactly.
and maintain that,
Yes. So, good point. Then, if the solution, so what is the solution to consistent profitability or success in general? That if we get rid of the ego-driven and stick to the being-driven, being meticulous, being focused, being confident, passionate, patient, responsible, integrity, etc. And then the doing part, it takes a lot of awareness to act on it. Maybe perhaps creating reminders, such as asking, who are you being? Then if you answer, I am meticulous, focused, confident, passionate, patient, responsible, integrity, and so forth, then you will do what needs to be done. And then the question is, are you really now being an ego-driven based or being self-based? So those are the two images. If you're ego-based, like fear, lack of confidence, procrastinator, irresponsible, then will you take the act? Perhaps not, right?
Usually not.
Exactly. And that the end result doesn't matter whether you win or lose, because you followed the process right. In most cases, you win more than you actually lose. Because here we have no control of the outcome anyway. Do you have control of the outcome, Jared?
You never do.
Exactly, especially when it comes to trading the markets, because we have no control.
Yeah. It's,
right?
yeah, what's the word for it? It's like, yeah, no control over it.
Exactly.
Trying to blank.
So that is the solution. And in being aware of our belief systems. Awesome. Do you have any questions, Jared?
No, it all makes sense.
Yeah. Fantastic. It's just basically once we get to that awareness, that would be sweet. Alrighty, then we'll leave it as it is. Thanks for coming in.
Cool.
And
thanks, sir.
Have a good weekend, Jared. We'll see you next week.
All right, you as well.
Have a good one. See you, Jared.
See ya.